So Bordetella pertussis is a gram-negative aerobic coccobacillus, so it needs oxygen. The virulence factor, the factor that causes a problem within the host tissue, includes pertussis toxin, and it disables the G inhibitory because it does inhibit the inhibitory, then it increases as a result the cyclic AMP. And there's another way of increasing the cyclic AMP is by just having the adenylate cyclase toxin. So it has the three toxins. Two of them, the first one is the pertussis toxin, it disables the G inhibitory, and the second toxin is the adenylate cyclase toxin. They both increase the cyclic AMP as a result. And the third toxin is the tracheal cytotoxin, and it evades the respiratory epithelium and kills the respiratory epithelium. The pertussis goes in three stages. So the catch-all, the first one is a low-grade fevers with coryza, which is a mild symptomatic cold. Paroxysmal, the stage two is the paroxysmal. The patient has paroxysms of intense cough followed by inspiratory whoop, whooping cough with post-tussive vomiting. So basically, the patient has a long episode of coughing, like continuous coughing. So to the point that they cannot breathe until after this coughing, they try to breathe in vigorously and take a lot of oxygen inside, and this produces the whoop sound, the whooping cough. And then, of course, that is followed by vomiting because it's vigorous. And then the third stage is the convalescent. It's a gradual recovery of chronic cough. So, this is called the 100-day war, this disease, probably because it um, um, it lasts for too long. And in this case, the recovery is gradual. That's why it's called the convalescent stage. This is prevented by the TDAP or the DTAP vaccines, and this AP means a cellular pertussis vaccine, produces lymphocytosis, and that is something that does not happen with most bacterial infections. Um, Most bacterial infections does not have lymphocytosis, but pertussis is an exception. Um, the treatment is macrolides, of course, but if the patient is allergic to macrolides, then it's TMPS, SMX, then it's trimethoprim, sulfaconazole, something like that, but something related to the sulfa. That's for the pertussis. For the brucella, then it's gram-negative aerobic coccobacillus. It's transmitted via ingestion of contaminated animal products. So let's if we imagine a farm and then it's related to the uh, animal produced products, just like unpasteurized milk. It survives in macrophages, so it's facultative intracellular, and the cells that they stay within are the macrophages. Because of that, it moves into the reticular endothelial system, which is a collection or combination of many immune cells. It's called the reticular endothelial system as a end result. Can form the brucella can form non-caseating granulomas. The granulomas that they're not caseating typically presents with indolent fever, which means a fever that comes and goes, with night sweats and arthralgia. The treatment is doxycycline plus minus rifampicin or streptomycin. So all of these are treatment and not just a prophylaxis. The other bacteria that we have over here is the Legionella pneumophila. It is a gram-negative rod. uh, Gram stains poorly. That's why we may need another stain, that is the silver stain. It grows on the charcoal yeast extract medium. So in the lab, if we need to study the Reginella pneumophilia, then we're going to need the charcoal yeast extract and add to it iron and cysteine. It is detected by the presence of the antigen of the Legionella pneumophilia in the urine. Labs may show hyponatremia, um, there is salt wasting, so that's why there is hyponatremia. This is aerosol transmission from environmental water source habitats, just like air conditioning systems or hot water tanks, because it's aerosol transmission. The outbreak happens or associated with the cruise ships, nursing homes, but there is no like specific person to another person transmission, nothing like that. Is just uh, aerosol transmission through the environment. This treatment for Legionella pneumophila are macrolides or quinolones. Um, Two diseases are the end results of the Legionella pneumophila. One of them is the Pontiac fever, and it's mild. Basically, it goes on its own. It's mild flu-like symptoms, and that's it. But the more serious disease is the Legionnaire's disease. It is severe pneumonia, often unilateral and lobar, and it occurs more in smoker patients. The patient has fever, GI, and CNS symptoms, while the risk factors, as we said, are older age, tobacco smoking, and chronic lung disease. And it is the more serious form of the Legionella pneumophila disease. Um, the other bacteria is the Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and the aeruginosa is, just as the name implies, it's aerobic and it's motile and catalase positive, so it does have this enzyme and it's gram negative rod, non-lactose fermenting, okay, so it does not ferment lactose, and it is oxidase positive, so it has the oxidase enzyme and it has the catalase enzyme. So this is frequently found in water, the Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and it has a grape-like odor. The Pseudomonas is basically associated with pneumonia in a patient, sepsis, ecthyma gangrenosum, just like this image, um, and then UTIs, urinary tract infections, diabetes, and then osteomyelitis, of course, mucoid polysaccharide capsule, because Pseudomonas aeruginosa are capsulated bacteria, so they have mucoid polysaccharide capsule, and also otitis externa is the swimmer's ear is one of the diseases that Pseudomonas aeruginosa can cause. Nosocomial, so it could happen in healthcare associated infections, and also catheters, equipment that are inserted within the patient's body. Addiction as well, injection of drug for drug users. The skin infections caused by Pseudomonas aeruginosa include the hot tub folliculitis and wound infections in burn victims. The polysaccharide capsule, the mucoid polysaccharide capsule, may contribute to chronic pneumonia in patients with cystic fibrosis due to biofilm formation. So basically, this bacteria has this mucoid polysaccharide capsule that can cause biofilm formation, this layer that helps the bacteria in attaching to the surfaces. So if that occurs in a patient with cystic fibrosis, then it will only make things get worse, because this cystic fibrosis patient is going to develop chronic pneumonia now. This produces phospholipase C, and phospholipase C degrades cell membrane. That's one, and then it produces endotoxin as well, causing fever and shock. With exotoxin A, that which inactivates the elongation factor 2. The pigments are used to help us with the acidosis aeruginosa are pyoverdine and pyocyanine. It looks like as blue-green pigment, just as an A. So there you go, blue-green pigment, okay? And it also generates ROS, reactive oxygen species. The corneal, well, if a patient has or uses contact lenses, or if they have a minor eye trauma, they also may develop, due to the Pseudomonas aeruginosa, they may develop corneal ulcers and or keratitis. The diseases or the end results of Pseudomonas aeruginosa is the ecthyma gangrenosum. It's rapidly progressive. It's necrotic cutaneous lesion caused by Pseudomonas bacteremia, typically seen in immunocompromised patients. So it's because this area, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, has spread into the blood, all of the blood. This is typically seen in immunocompromised patients. Treatments overall are antiphospho no, anticedomonal penicillins in combination with beta-lactamase inhibitors, just like piperacillin or tazobactam. The third and fourth generation cephalosporins like ceftazidime and cefopime, also monobactams and fluoroquinolones and carbapenzine. Okay, that's a lot of treatments, but that's it for this page.